Hello, peace, salam, everyone. I'm Huda Alkaff. I'm the founder and director of Wisconsin Green Muslims. I'm an ecologist, an environmental educator, and I started this group, Wisconsin Green Muslims, 20 years ago to connect faith, environmental justice, sustainability, and healing through education and service. And now we are starting Michigan Green Muslims along the same line as sibling organizations. So I'm definitely interested, and this is my passion.
Hi, my name's Dave Bookless. I'm based in London, England, and I work for A Rocha International, which is a Christian movement of organizations in 20 odd countries around the world, practically caring for God's world. And my own role is as head of theology. I'm a pastor and a theologian, but I also like to get my hands dirty with a bit of gardening, and I'm a keen birder and enjoy bird banding as a hobby as well.
So I'm a Muslim, and I wanted to really connect my faith to my passion as an ecologist. And I found that a concept that's really important for me, which is an ecological balance. That's a concept that we learn about it, we see it in our ecological field. But also in Islam, a key concept is balance. And it's repeated over and over in the Quran, the holy book for Muslims. So looking at both the ecological balance and the Islamic balance, it's like, wow, yeah, this is what I want to do. This is what I want to dedicate my life to this, and to really reach a balance between all these concepts and practices, and to live the faith in the way that it's meaningful and authentic. And so there's so many teachings in the Quran, the holy book for Muslims, and the Hadith, the reports and sayings of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. So those are the two main sources for us. And it's a duty, an obligation on Muslims to care for Earth, our common home. God says in the Quran, chapter 6, verse 165, "It is God who has made you viceroys on earth." The earth was mentioned more than 450 times in the Quran, of course, for a reason. There are approximately 1,500 verses and lessons in the Quran about the environment in many ways, in the balance and caring for each other and for all the beings in life. And the sacredness of water, food, light, land. And some of the chapters in the Quran are the cow, the honey-making bees, the light, the ants, the spider, the star, the iron, the people, the pen, the dawn, the moon, the night, the day, the fig, the elephant, etc. All these are lessons, and all these are really bringing the passion and the love to practice. So connecting faith and ecology.
I was fascinated with what you were just saying, Huda, about Islam and the environment, and so much of that resonates with me as a Christian. We believe in God as creator as the first and foundational doctrine of Christian faith, that God has created all that exists, that God delights in creation, that God calls it very good, and that God entrusts humans as those made in God's image to have a particular role in caring for creation. And sometimes the term stewardship is used. I actually prefer the term guardianship, because we tend to steward objects, whereas we're guardians maybe to children or to animals who we look after. So for us today, we obviously face a situation where there are some Christians, and perhaps particularly in North America, who've really struggled to make this link between their faith and caring for the environment. And tragically, this has become a politicized issue. But caring for God's creation is not an issue that should either be progressive or conservative. It's an issue that goes right back to biblical faith. And for me, that's what I try to do in my teaching and my writing, is encourage Christians to reflect on the Bible, on the teachings of Jesus, on the Old Testament as well. Similar to what Huda was saying, there are huge numbers of passages in the Old Testament, particularly about land and its importance, about water, about trees. And Jesus himself, in his teaching, uses dozens of illustrations taken from the natural world about fig trees and vines and fruitfulness, and the birds of the air and so much more. And so I try and use these to help Christians connect their faith with caring for creation. And I try and kind of sidestep the politics to get right back to the biblical basis for this, and to think about how we can do this practically in our everyday lives, and how we can make a difference in honoring God by caring for the earth as part of our worship and part of our discipleship.
We need to be in a community with each other and building together, and all these concepts, and how much the bee is like transforming one thing into another. That's a healing process to the world. So how we can be a healers, even we can be like, even if we are a wounded healer, but we can be a healer, and this is our responsibility to work together to be healers in this world. And so with that, that's what motivates me, like how I can be a healer, how I can bring people to look into with those eyes, like with those lenses, how we can be together and overcome difficulties, overcome challenges. But the way we do that, we have a model. We have an open circle model that we designate a theme for each month. And we start with networking in January, and then February we teach about climate change, March about water, and then April is Interfaith Earth Month. That's the month that we come in together, and we work with the community around that. And then in May it's clean air. Summer we're busy with our community vegetable gardens, and September is transit, equity. October is Interfaith Energy Awareness Month. And then in November is waste reduction. And we end the year with environmental justice is our key pillar as well. We end it, and it's all interconnected.
That's really wonderful. And I love the sound of what you said, Huda, about this kind of curriculum going through the different months and really thoroughly covering an awful lot of the issues that we face. I'm thinking about some of the challenges, that some of which are universal to all of us and some of which may be specific to our traditions. Some of the things that stop people engaging in caring for the earth. And I think one of the biggest today is simply people feeling either terrified, sort of, climate stress, climate anxiety, and feeling therefore that they can't make any difference, either that it's too late or what they do won't make any difference at all. And it's really good to address that by being part of a group, as you were saying, by finding common cause with other people locally and around the world, and actually sharing the stories of good news, sharing the stories of what does make a real difference, whether that difference is local or global. As I mentioned at the beginning, I work for an organization called A Rocha. It's The Rock in Portuguese. That's where we began 40 years ago. And I'd like to share a couple of brief stories of kind of where the rubber hits the road, of putting our faith into action in practical ways. So one from the UK. Just less than 10 years ago, we launched a program called EcoChurch in the UK. And we were really ambitious. We thought within 10 years, let's see if we can get 1,000 churches engaged with EcoChurch. It's an online survey, followed by a work plan that you work out as a church, and then you can aim for bronze, silver, and gold Eco Church awards. And now it's 9 and a bit years since that program was launched, and we have more than 8,000 signed up eco churches here in the UK. So it's just exploded as a movement, and to me, it's a thrill and an excitement to see so many Christians beginning to really link how they care for the earth, moving towards net zero, looking at carbon literacy, all those really technical and practical things, connecting it to their faith, connecting it to their worship, connecting it to their discipleship. The other example I have is a rather different one from Ghana in West Africa, where A Rocha has led a campaign to protect a forest threatened with unsuitable mining development. It's a forest built on hills, which are largely composed of bauxite, the raw material for, well, in Europe, we'd call it aluminium. In North America, you call it aluminum. And the Ghanaian government have been offered billions of dollars to destroy the forest and to mine the bauxite that's there. But that forest contains unique species, more than 750 species of butterfly, unique species of frog found nowhere else in the world. But also, as we researched the work there, and this is all led by Ghanaian Christians and actually working closely with Ghanaian Muslims, what they discovered was that the water sources from that forest provide drinking water for 5 million people. And if the mining took place, it would either destroy or poison those water sources as well. So, as so often, caring for nature and caring for vulnerable people are not two opposing things. They're actually two sides of the same coin. And there's been a long-running campaign in Ghana to protect this forest. And just recently, there was a general election, and the new government have said they are going to turn this into a national park, and that they are going to protect it for the indefinite future, which is an amazing story of how faith-based environmental action has really made a significant difference at quite a large scale.
Yeah, I mentioned at the time of darkness, it's our responsibility to work together towards light and love and power. So in 2016, we established a faith and solar initiative, and it's an interfaith initiative led by Wisconsin Green Muslims. And what we are doing with that is that we are centering energy democracy in our work that is community-based, solutions-focused, frontline-led, and justice-centered renewable energy efforts that have many characteristics, but really it's centering people's power. So we reached over 10,000 people of different backgrounds. We work with 19 different faith traditions and spiritualities, and a large number of variety of constituents in Wisconsin. And we worked with these communities to generate just solar guiding principles from the people, by the people, and for the people, rooted in our collective values of justice, equity, and inclusion. And two pathways came from these listening sessions and conversations. Is that energy efficiency to solar power came like really a priority, and then solar trainings to living wage jobs, primarily for women and people of color and disadvantaged communities. So we started, we're still piloting that work, is to offer a training for the community that is has mentorship, has stipends, has along the way, and we're going to be seeing how that works. But with the Wisconsin Faith and Solar Initiative, I mentioned, we have now helped. It has three components. It has the social component where people learn from each other, and benefit from the experiences and the storytelling. And then we have the financial component where we help with different financial models that worked for different communities. And then the spiritual component where we talk about the light, and we don't focus on the technology as such. We focus on the sacredness of light and power, and how we need to welcome these sacredness into our lives and not turn our backs to them and switch on coal and nuclear and other polluting powers. So so that's what we have been doing, and it goes side by side with the faithful rainwater harvesting, which abbreviation stands for farah, an Arabic word for joy. So really, this rays of sunlight and rays of and droplets of water with the rain, all that sacred and all that sacred gifts and trust, that we need to welcome them and embrace them into our lives, congregations, and homes. And so far, we've been able to, with our partners, to help 40 organizations install solar. So with those, when these projects are completed and interconnected, it's about 700 kilowatts would be of solar power will be added to the Wisconsin grid. So we're looking forward to that accomplishment. But definitely faith in solar is one of our strongest campaigns. And again, we're focusing on light and power and community and love to counter all the darkness and hatred in the world. And it has been really resonated with the community. We've done polls. Uh, Interesting, we had pollsters, two of them working together. One is a Republican and one is a Democrat. They worked together and they did those polls for us with the community all over Wisconsin. And we had approval rate of about 75% for the Faith and Solar initiative that is led by Wisconsin Green Muslims. So we really see that the power of light and the sacredness of it overcomes other negativity and builds relationships.
This year, 2025, Earth Day comes right after Easter, and for Christians, the most important week of the year, leading up to where we remember the crucifixion and the resurrection of Jesus Christ. So for us this year, Earth Day is inevitably linked to that. And actually, Huda's already kind of stolen my thunder in terms of the imagery of light, because for us, Jesus is the light of the world. And what we have done as a family in the lead up to Easter is in those days, Good Friday, Holy Saturday, before Easter Sunday, we have deliberately had our house in darkness. We have turned off all the lights and gone to bed when it gets dark, or just used candles. We've not used our computers or our phones for that sort of 2 to 3 day period. And it's a deliberate entering into the darkness so that after Easter comes, and this year with Earth Day just 2 days after Easter, we can celebrate the light. And it's the fact that God has provided us with all the light and all the energy we need in this world. And it's an ongoing, eternally renewable source of energy and light that we have been provided with. So we're going to be focusing on that. We're going to be encouraging people to look into solar panels where they can, and also encouraging people where solar isn't practical to look at heat pumps and other ways of using renewable energy so that they can help with this just and equitable transition.
In Wisconsin, as a Wisconsinite, I always need to mention that Gaylord Nelson, it was an American politician from Wisconsin who served as a United States senator and governor. And he was the founder of Earth Day, which launched the wave of environmental activism. So we always want to mention that and remind people of the role that Wisconsin played in this whole movement. And therefore, also, it's a responsibility on us to continue the leadership, to be leaders in this world. So that's what we doing on Earth Day, and us as going back to the open circle model and designating a theme for each month. It's Earth Month. It's not Earth Day. So the whole month is about Earth Day. With that, so I would just say that it is time to light the way and heal the wound. The intensity of light is stronger in darkness, providing greater opportunity for light to lead the way. Let's continue to work together, countering darkness and spreading light and healing justice. Shine on.